Folks, well, it sure is a topsy-turvy Leaf land out there. 10-7 Red Wings game. 5-3 versus the Caps. Deadline's coming. We're going to break it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's Katie, and I'm the Devo, and we're here to talk all things Leafs. My goodness, where to start? Katie, what the heck is going on?
Well, I'm going to break it down with a rock and roll theme here, and we'll get going. So first, Holl and Oates. I watched the game last night, and I was on Hometown Hockey. They had Adam Oates on in between periods, and we like to believe we know a little bit of hockey, but I mean I think that guy's forgotten more hockey than we know. It was a pleasure to hear him talking his take on the games and the nuances. I'd love to see that guy on TV more often. So that was great, and then our own Justin Holl. He's responded really, really well since he's been benched. He's been benched twice. In both times, he came back really well, but I am encouraged with the way I'm seeing him play. Jumping Jack Flash. So the term a jackknife player usually goes to a forward. They play center, they play left wing or right wing, and they can move around up and down the lineup. Toronto's jackknife player is TJ Brodie. He can play both sides, and everyone who plays with him plays better. So I see him going back to play with Riley when all the dust is settled. But I do think he's a tremendous player who can play with everyone. Elvis is in the building.
Yeah.
91, John Tavares has very quietly been playing better hockey. And last night, I'm not sure if it's the Caps' physicality that brought it out of him, but I thought last night was the best game he's played in a long, long time. Was dominant below the red line, really created two of the goals. He really hunkered down. He's still in that goal-scoring drought, but if he plays like he did last night, Leafs are two lines strong, and I thought that was great to see. Well, they call me the working man. I guess that's what I am. So if you have a stat line, 50% on the draws, no shots on net, 5 hits, +2, and you saved a goal on the goal line, whose stat line do you think that would be? Would it be Austin Matthews? You would never believe it, but it was. He was dominant last night without being an offensive juggernaut. We marvel at his offensive playing, but he's doing everything now. And I think if he's not now, he should be regarded as one of, if not the most dominant player in the game. 38 special. Well, not so 38 special. The Leafs special teams struggled last night. I think it's been 6 or 7 games since the power play scored. They're moving the puck around too much and not shooting very much. And that's always when they struggle on offense on that power play is they look for the perfect play. The Washington Capitals power play has probably been the best power play in the league for about 5 years. It's struggling a bit this year, but it's pretty dynamic. Normally, and the real keys are there's 3 players at top. The quarterback of it is John Carlson, who actually takes the most shots on their power play. I have him circled here in green. He's actually the first option. Normally we have Kuznetsov on the wing. In this case, we had Eller, often Backstrom's there. And then we have Tom Wilson in the middle here, and we have Sheary in front of the net, who's great retrieving pucks and dumping pucks in the back of the net. And then we have Ovi in his office on his off wing. You'll notice the wingers are on their off wings. What they do here is, in this case, Eller back and forth with Carlson up top. As soon as Carlson sees a lane, he will shoot it. He'll have Wilson screening and Sheary in front of the net. What Carlson will do, though, is he will watch to see when the Leafs either pull back or give Ovi room, he will move that pass to Ovi right away to shoot. And they don't move it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's 1 or 2 passes maybe, and one of those 2 is shooting. The third option is Eller or Kuznetsov off the wing. So it goes back to Carlson, back to Eller. If it goes back to Carlson, if he doesn't have a shot, it's to Ovi. This is the first shot of the power play. They get the rebound, get it back to Carlson, back to Ovi, who does a slap pass to Wilson to score 15 seconds later. So I think the Leafs want to really try on getting the first shot early in the power play, getting that set shot to the defenseman and through or over to the wing and get the first shot on net. And I think we'll see, get through these tough patches when they're not scoring. And that's my rock and roll take on the Leafs. There we go.
Well, that's something else. Coach, Coach, what's happening? Where are you?
Hey, Devo, do we have any time left? So, guten Abend, fellas. I'm in Frankfurt, Germany tonight. And Kev, you couldn't have mixed in any scorpions for me while I'm over here? Hall & Oates, rock and roll. I don't know. Anyway, all right, so this is the section where it's what I liked, right?
Sure.
I would say that in the parlance here, der Himmel fällt nicht, which means the sky is not falling. So last time we did a pod was 2 games ago. We won both games. Solid February, 7-4-1. So if you extrapolate that out over 82 games, that's a 102-point pace for February. Perhaps the sky is not falling. There's lots of stuff you might not have liked over the last games, especially the Detroit game. But hey, we're okay. Mrs. Coach and I actually had a lot of fun watching the Red Wings game. I kind of felt like this guy here. This is No Life Shaq. I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. He goes and he listens to the Spirit of Radio from Rush for the first time, and it is hilarious. And as he may say, like, they played with his emotions, just like that Leaf game. I didn't know whether to hula hoop or to throw a brick. So that was his comment. We were all over the place, up big, and then we're like, we're going to lose this game, and we get a shorty, and we come back and win. So that's great. I love that we won that game when both goalies, Campbell was awful, but Mrazek was also awful. We won that game when both goalies were awful. Their goalies happen to be awfuler. And look, I also like that the first line is unstoppable, guys. Well, I know we'll cover it. We've covered it. We'll continue to cover it. They're fantastic. So that's what I like.
Yeah, great point. Look, what a difference a week makes. Remember when we were discussing whether or not Holl should be in the lineup? Then Muzzin gets hurt. Holl comes back from being benched. He's pretty good. He was actually fantastic in the last game. Campbell becomes an absolute sieve. And all of a sudden there's a goalie problem and controversy going on in Leafland. I've loved the play of the third line. That's one thing that's remained more or less consistent. Even with Kashe out of the lineup and Engvall playing in, they're big, they're fast, they push the puck the way it needs to go. Fantastic. They had an expected goals for of 78% last night. The third line. And you guys saw me texting. I'm glad that Engvall got that empty netter at the end because they deserved more than that. Mrazek was good enough. He seemed to be fighting the puck a little bit, guys. I don't know if he gives you a sense of confidence. He often doesn't seem to know where the puck is, which kind of bothers me a little bit. If the Leafs can add a stud, I think they can afford to put Muzzin on an LTIR deal and bring him back, and maybe he can be a depth piece or a third pairing. But you need to get a guy to either pair up with on the first line a right D to pair up with 44 and move Brody down, as you say, the jackknife KD, or you got to bring in someone to play with Holl. And I think if you do, you really settle things down quite a bit. All right, Coach, what didn't you like?
Well, I didn't like that you were texting me at 3 a.m. That's what time it was when that Leaf game was on last night. So thanks for keeping me up, Devo. And so what I hear, I'm going to go a little counter to what you said. I agree with most of what you said, but I disagree with a couple things. First off, I'm not crazy about this talk about Muzzin should be put on long-term injured reserve. I think it's ludicrous.
They might not have a choice, that's all. They might not have a choice.
For this simple fact. Well, there's 30 games left, right? So, and there's a lot of time. So, yes, but if he can come back, if he's going to play for you in the playoffs, I believe he has to play before the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's not Nikita Kucherov, where he's in his mid-20s and he's an MVP of the league and he can come in and maybe not miss a beat. He's more like Zach Hyman a couple of years ago, came in, was ineffective. Mikheyev came back from that wrist thing, was ineffective. Riley Nash last year that they picked up did nothing. It's hard to miss a whole bunch of time and then come back. If they have to, they have to. But I don't know if they're going to know if they have to in enough time to gain that LTIR. Similarly, I think it's nuts to think Justin Holl is back. So he's been inconsistent for a really long time. Not just Campbell, not just goaltending. But there's a few guys that have been like that. He has had 2 great games. But as you said, both of you guys have said, TJ Brodie will do that for you. He's done it for Riley. He did it for Mark Giordano. He is going to make the other guy better, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look at this, here's what they look like on D. These were the pairs for the last couple of games. So what do you notice here? Is the right side good enough? Of course it isn't. You have to upgrade the right side, okay? But if you happen to upgrade the left side and put Brodie back with Riley, now you have a problem if Muzzin comes back. Because if you upgrade and you have Riley, the upgraded guy, and then who do you put on the third pair on the left side? Sandin or Muzzin? Both those guys have to play, and neither of them are good on the right side. So it's not simple, right? I think they have to upgrade, and it has to be a guy who can play the right side, because the right side is weak here. Okay, so if Holl is your third pair guy, then you're okay. And Brodie's your first pair guy, and then you slot a guy in the second, that's okay. The other thing I'm not crazy about is the reactionary nature of Leafs social media, Leaf Nation social media. So the power play's terrible, right? So for its last 11. Is it, though? Does it suck? Or is it still the number 1 unit in the NHL, 2 points better than anybody else? I think St. Louis is second. So let's not go crazy over a small dry spell. How about John Tavares? Before that game, he's washed up. He should move to the wing. How can he play center? Well, sure. Does he have 50 points in 52 games? Do 20 to 25 teams in the league wish he was their second center? Of course. Of course. Okay, what about Zach Hyman? Well, I was one of those guys that says you can't replace Zach Hyman. Isn't the top line better this year than last year? Yeah. Even if Bunting isn't as good as Hyman, aren't they better? And they're playing a much tougher schedule. That Canadian division, we don't want to own up to it, but that Canadian division last year was soft.
Yep.
So the first line is better with a better schedule. And then, look, you guys know I'm a huge Jack Campbell fan, and it was really difficult to watch him struggle. And it wasn't just that game. He struggled for a while. Mm-hmm. But is Mrazek the answer? Here's the stats of both of them. And I get that it takes into account Campbell's fantastic start to the year, but Mrazek for the year isn't even 900. So, look, I don't care who starts the playoffs for us. I don't care which guy it is, but one of them has to be playing well. So Campbell's got a few games to sort this out before we get into the playoffs. Same with Mrazek. Somebody's got to take the crease. Somebody does. Maybe it's Mrazek. I don't know. But hopefully somebody does, and somebody starts playing well.
Yep. All right, folks, let's get into some predictions. Let's lay it on the line. We don't have a lot of time here, guys. So the Leafs host the Sabres Wednesday night. There's some magic in the air, I think. What's going to happen, KD?
Well, Scotty, rock you like a hurricane. I will be there in the stands. I predict that there will be several beverages taken. I predict I will call out the fair city of Buffalo several times in my drunken stupor, and I predict a Leaf cakewalk here. I believe they blow them out.
Coach?
It's real simple. I'm going back to chalk. 4-1 win, Matthews scores. Let's go.
Well, you know what? There must be magic in the air, because I think I will be at the game as well. And when 2/3 of the OZone show up, crazy things happen. I mean, Richie scored the last time this happened. That's like a unicorn. I like the 4-1 call, but I can't double it up. I'm going to go 5-1. Tavares scores, as does 65. They both deserve it. There you have it, folks. Everything you need to know about your Leafs, right here. Hit the like button. Smash it. Ring the bell. We'll be waiting for you. right here